suffering-free. Profound suffering may threaten to blot out completely the light of the stars that are guiding us by making us doubt the general story we have accepted about what human life means. When the stars disappear, examine the personal stories of Naomi, Job, Jeremiah, and some of the psalmists, in order to help those of us who are suffering not lose hope that God is with us and working in and through our suffering for our good. Give me understanding that I may live, situating our suffering within God's redemptive plan. Steps back to look at the general Christian story that explains why there is any suffering, why there is so much of it, and what will finally, gloriously, be true for those who confess with their mouths that Jesus is Lord and believe in their hearts that God raised him from the dead. See Romans chapter 10, verse 9. When suffering overwhelms us, it is hard to focus on anything else. Yet often our focus needs to shift. As we saw in When the Stars Disappear, when God finally spoke to Job, he did not commiserate with him. He didn't answer Job's questions or address his complaints. Instead, he shifted Job's focus to the world's creation, accusing Job of obscuring his plans by words without knowledge. Job chapter 38, verse 2. He then battered Job with questions, exposing Job's ignorance and impotence while celebrating his own knowledge, power, and dominion over all things, including his dominion over wicked human beings and the world's most terrifying creatures. By shifting Job's focus, God enabled Job to gain some perspective on his suffering. What had seemed to Job in his suffering to be life's full story was not, in fact, the full story. Job came to see that the full story involved much more than his suffering. This led him to confess that he had spoken of things that were, in fact, too wonderful for him to understand. See Job chapter 40, verse 1 through 5, and chapter 42, verses 1 through 6. This volume tells the full Christian story, the true story of the whole world. That story has 4 parts: creation, rebellion, redemption, and consummation. Scripture considers each part, and our coming to understand the main features of each is crucial if we are to live the lives for which God has made us and to which he calls us. Just as our high schooler in When the Stars Disappear made sense of her life by embracing a storyline that aimed at her becoming a primary care physician, so all of us make sense of our lives by the stories we tell. And none of us cook up these stories by ourselves. We learn to tell stories by others telling us stories that help us make sense of our lives. Even very young children understand that their personal stories are anchored in the past. They ask questions like, "Who made me? Who was your daddy, Grandma? And what did you do when you were a little girl, Mommy?" The answers they are given set some of the metaphorical stars that guide them in place. It is the same for us all. In particular, having an answer to the question, "How have human beings come to be?" is essential to answering other questions like, "Why are we here? And what does life mean?" Whether we believe that God has created us to fulfill a specific role in creation, or that we have evolved entirely by chance, should make all the difference in how we think about ourselves now. A little girl's "Who made me?" expanded to "How have we," meaning all of us, come to be, is one of life's most crucial questions. Moreover, knowing whether our ancestors made good or bad choices, and whether their lives went well or poorly, can be crucial for understanding ourselves. Learning that my grandfather was an alcoholic who left my grandmother very early in my father's life tells me something important about my father's history that inevitably has shaped his relationship with me. In Scripture, God answers life's most fundamental questions, helping us get our stories straight. As Luther recognized, the opening chapters of Genesis are